Hi, it's Rita, and I've got another one that I'm trying to do for the primary. And I was in the middle of it and realized I didn't press record, but I hadn't started putting everything on. It's going to be sorry, I'm going to put you down here. The canvas that I have is a 14 by 14, and you're going to have the 12 by 12. Let me pause. So I noticed my lighting wasn't very good. It still doesn't look very bright. I don't know what's going on. Huh. I've got some light on this situation. Well, anyway, maybe it'll turn out better than what I'm seeing. So I'm going to use this to do my swiping with. This is a swipe one. I'm going to do circles of color, and then I'm going to swipe across them to have cells pop out. And I haven't added the dimethicone to the colors yet, so I'm going to do that. You're not going to have to do it, but yeah, what I was trying to say is I like to save some of the little things that I get left over out of the cups that are different colors, and I'm going to do the same thing with the swiping of the things. I put a D on my stevia thing so that I know it's not stevia in there. It's some of the dimethicone syrup. I've used this. I only had this bottle up to here or so that I filled with the serum, and I've used this for over a year. So it lasts a long time, and all you need is a few drops, and that's what I'll put into yours before you get them. For them to give you some cells, which is the cool thing about doing this. Now, some of these paints might be too thick for what I'm doing, so I'm going to have to, yeah, this one needs a little water, and I've got a little water jug here, and I'm just dripping in a couple of things of water. I've already put the white base coat on here, but I'm going to add more white to the center of it. So, there it goes. Still clunky. This one's really thick. I don't like to add water, so when I do add water, it's just a little bit. That is okay. It leaves a little bit of a mound. This yellow's not cooperating. I even changed the stick because the stick was real thick with dried paint. Sorry, this part's going to be boring, but there's techniques to doing these, and you do have to have the formula correct in the paint, which includes how thick it's going to be. It's a couple seconds. Sometimes what I do is I count how, look at that, clunk, clunk, clunk. That doesn't even dissipate into the paint, so that's not correct. I hope I'm not splattering water on my white paint there. So I'm stirring it in really good, and I needed to stir this anyway to get the dimethicone in there, but it's not dripping off. It's plopping off, I guess you could say. So pretty sure I need almost a half a teaspoon or so of water in here, so that's what I do it with baking also. I guesstimate what I'm doing. I'm gonna see, it's still, but it's dissipating into there, so I don't want to get it too thin. I'm going by feel sometimes too, as to how thick they are. My orange is mighty thick, but it's coming off of the stick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm good with it. Felt pretty thick, but maybe it has a higher amount of the powder stuff. It's like I lost the word. Sorry. The pigments. It probably has a thicker amount of pigments in it than the other. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, and like if you've seen some of the other videos, I have my white already in a bottle, and of course you can see that I've been touching it with other colors. And sometimes I wash it off really good, and other times I just don't. So I'm putting a center of white. Red. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I'm putting a bigger center of white because I didn't realize that it was kind of off center. But I'll fix that center. You'll see that. So I'm going to take my stick. So it might take you a little longer doing this part. And I'm going to slowly put it on in a circle around the other circle of white. And it's okay to mess up, okay? It's okay to drip a few here and there because I'm going to swipe it. Or you're going to swipe it. So now I've got the yellow going on. It's a little easier if you have a squirt bottle to do this, but and we would do a squirt bottle if we could get together, but this is the next best thing. And I want you to be able to enjoy doing art craft because it's a very therapeutic thing to do, is to be able to work with things like this. It gets your mind on what you're doing. It can be really fun to look at. I don't know if anybody else likes to look at clouds and things like that, but that's one of my things that I've always loved doing. Or looking at the stars in the sky when they're nice and bright. So, you see, I got the red, yellow, blue. Like I said, I'm going to throw in some orange because the amount of paint that you'll be getting will do probably 2 or 3 rings. Depends on how thin you make the rings. But I'll probably just add one of the oranges in here, but you'll get the gist whether I've got orange in here or not of how this turns out. Okay, so going back to the red. And I've let this red set, so I had to thin it out earlier. But this kind of painting that we're doing here is also thinner than some of the other ones that I do. But it'll work with anything you want to do. If you want to do a poured painting where you put it in the cup in layers, or sometimes I've done layers and then I've stirred it a little bit to mix up the colors but not get them too mixed up. As you see, I dripped a little bit, which is fine. It's really cool to because we're gonna mix them anyway by swiping. Red, yellow. I think I can get just one more of the yellow that I had left, which is about as much as you'll get. But with a 12-inch canvas, you're taking away an inch from every side. And so I got a piece of hair in here. Sorry. There it is down here. There. Like I said, it doesn't matter that I got distracted by something. And you don't need perfect rounds, okay? Oh, depends. I might be able to do 3. I'm going to do this just a little bit more to make it more even, because this wasn't too thick down here. I was trying to be skimpy. So you can see some of the cells kind of like trying to formate before swiping in the white. I hope you can. It depends on the size of the picture you're looking at, I'm sure. And I'm thinking of putting this on YouTube in case there's people that can get on YouTube to see this. I'm doing it on my Facebook account, but I'm going to post it on YouTube, I think. Some of the other ones too, maybe. There's a few that I have on YouTube, and it's just under the way that my name is spelled, Rita T. Bear. I started one a long time ago, and it didn't let me do the different YouTube that I wanted. Under T. Bear Art, because I did one just with my name and Daenerys when she was real little. We were doing it on gardening, and I didn't have very many people look at it because I didn't tell anybody because I thought it was kind of silly. But they say on YouTube, just post your stuff, and then as you're posting, you'll get better. Otherwise, you'll never do it, which I think is true. Yeah, because you can't have things going perfect. When you first start out doing something. And even as long as I've been doing this, I'm not getting perfection, right? So, such is life. Okay, so I've got to do one more round, and as you can see, there's about an inch there. There's going to be less than an inch there in here too, which I've got. What was it gonna say? Oh my goodness. Maybe I should delete that part. I've got an inch on each side more than what you'll have on your canvas. So you'll see though when I swipe it's going to go further out than where it is. Yeah, I might have this as the top and that is the bottom because these sides are pretty close to the same, where this top and that other one isn't. So you can do whatever you want to with it. I mean, as far as when you hang it, take one of the pins and poke it in the wall if your parents will let you. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop here just to show you instead of continuing on. So I'm turning this to the spot that I think I want it, but I'm going to keep turning it anyway. Let's see how the sponge works. You barely go into here. Okay, I'm going to go this way. You barely go into here and you try to float it on top of the paint. You do not push down to pull. You push down to float on top to give it the swipe, okay? So, excuse me, here we go. I'm putting it into the middle and I'm barely floating it over top. Okay, so you see how it goes all the way to the end. And sometimes I take the color and I put it on the other part of it. So I like to kind of go quickly, and I'm going to float it on top. I'm not going to push it until I get down here, and we're going to end up with some of the color still. Okay, so put it down. Make sure you float it. You're going to feel the paint, whether it's moving or not. You don't really want to move too much of the paint. You want to get a little bit of it, but you don't want to move too much. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the side part here, because this part is a lot further to go. Okay. And I don't know, whoops. See, I like to, might have to add a little bit more of your white paint, so I hope you have some left over. You should. It should take less than one of the cups of the colors. Okay, but I'm lifting it up now, letting it keep dragging, and then okay. Now I do have white on the ends too, so hope you're getting all this. Huh. Okay, so tripod might get in the way. Okay. So floating it, but yet pulling it a little bit, and then trying to let it go onto the canvas to get all the way to the end. And I'm going back. But at the end, hopefully you have just a little bit of paint left in your containers and you can fill in any gaps. So I'm going to pause this and continue on and then come back. Okay, now once you've got that done, which I've done it so that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you're recounting the 1, but there's 3 in the middle. But then I've taken the stick, one of the stick that you'll get. Okay, here and here, you can start at the yellow or anywhere you want to, and do a ziggle. You can do that with these too, instead of just going straight. But I like to get more on the spots where there isn't anything, but you can do very lightly, just wiggling it. And as you can tell, this is an old stick, an old stick that I have, and that I'm very, very lightly going over it. And you've got white in there. And if you if you need more white, you can always probably, if you have white, just add a little water to it. And then the other thing is to take a little bit here and go with the side of the stick into the paint and just zig it into the center. Okay, so you're pulling more of your art into the center. Okay, I'm going to continue. Okay, so some of them I'm pressing down a little bit more as I'm getting to the corner. This is wider. These were wider. Okay, that's why I did extra with them. But got something in my way. That's why I ended up too close to the canvas there at the end. So you get the idea of that. I'm going to be back and show you how it turned out, so not to bore you. Okay, and I might end up, if you have leftovers of a color, you can put them around there, and I'll show you that in a second. Hey, okay, so, there. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of color. Now, I'm trying to think, okay, what do I want in the center here? Now, you can do just a dab of each. You can do all red, you can do all yellow, you can do whatever you feel like. But again, I'm going to add a little color in here. And because the center should be pretty wet, that's what stays wet the longest is the center. You can manipulate paint in there and come up with different things, okay? So the stick again is a good, it's a good tool, but I'm going to pull it and pull it right in the center. And you can, by pulling it like this, it turns out like a lot of hearts, okay? Okay, now I'm going to look and say, okay, is there anything else I want to add? And is that the center? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to add some red and put some red hearts in there. Because if we love our primary colors, it would be nice to have all the primary colors close to our heart. So this is just, like I said, it's a suggestion, and it's up to you whether you. I want these about the same size. I do have a lot of white popping up, so I might have to go. You might have to go back in and add a little bit of your color. So save your color. And I like to be, if you wiggle it, you get a nice long string of it. You could do a heart in the center, but then, you know, it would only be one way that you could hang the painting, which is fine. I've done that with another one before. Put a nice big heart in the middle, and then I had the little hearts coming in and going out. Okay, so now yellow. Do I want yellow just in the center? And I think I'm just going to do it as a circle in the center. Okay, or maybe have it being like a starburst coming out. You can do whatever you want to. You can have things coming out. If you've got enough paint left over, because I'm giving you 2 times the white. It's pretty thick. Like I said, you need to have it level. Make sure you have a spot where it can stay for 24 hours where it's level. Some things get done good, some not. This is the other one that I had a video on that was black background instead of the white background. And yeah, so, and that was a different kind of a swipe. It was a swipe, but it was different. It was swiping everything and then dragging a stick or a skewer through here, and it's still wet. And this was done yesterday, so it's still wet. This is going to stay wet. I think I want a little red in the center. And that didn't go right in the center, did it? But I can do something with it. I can make it like that. You can add things into here. You can add things anywhere you want in your picture. Just have fun. That's the main thing, is to have fun. Now, if your parents have something while this is still wet, like this, if they have something like something to light a fire with, you know, they have the longer lighters that have a trigger on them that we start our wood burning with. I have a torch that is for culinary. So the culinary is cooking, of course, and you can even get these at Walmart. But they have these little torches. You fill it with propane or butane. You fill it with butane, and yeah, they have these, and they have even smaller ones that you can find, and it throws some fire out, and it, number one, pops more air bubbles, creates more different things that you can have. But without this, it still looks pretty neat, you know, without doing this. And if I had done it earlier, it probably would have had more. But just so you know, before you swipe, maybe add a little bit of white just to the edge, okay, before doing any of the swiping. Because some of the areas got dry on the edge. It won't matter if you can drag some of your color in there, because when it dries, you know, white is white, black is black, and you could do it in black if you wanted to. I'm going to show you some things. There's too many things that I could show. These are more of my swipes that I did in black background. Okay. This is a different kind where you get it all on, and then you take a wet paper towel that's not very wet, and you put it over top of it and then pick it up. I'd have to show you a video on that. But this is a swipe where, see, I love orange. Orange and red just turn out beautiful. And I had green on the bottom, green and purple and things like that. But then pulling them up, it almost looks like fire. So if you put the red at the top, this is a bigger one of a swipe that I made. I think I am showing you. That's another one. It's still white in the center, but I added the different colors in the middle and pulled it and played with it. But yeah, so anyway, what are you going to do? That's you know, I have so many things that I could show you how to do. There's just too many things you could do to make this special for you. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed and you have a lot of fun doing this art project. Okay, toodles.